What's going on, guys? It's Nora from UK Mobile Review. As you can see in front of us is the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. So you may have watched our hands-on video from yesterday, and that was just a very quick look at Samsung's new phone. We're now going to go a lot more in depth to look at what's changed in the software and just give you a bit more of a feel and look with better lighting about what's different. Special thanks to Sennheiser for lending us the EW100 and ME2 microphones, and Sony for lending us the RX100 Mark II camera for our Mobile World Congress coverage. Check out the links in the description below. So we'll start with the device itself. I'm going to run you through the quick specs very quickly, so you don't need to look away and check elsewhere. It's a 5.1-inch Full HD 1080p display, 2.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor. It's got LTE Cat 4, which is 150 megabits per second download speeds and 50 megabits per second upload speeds. It also has something called Download Booster, which allows you to hook up both LTE and Wi-Fi to make it a lot faster. And it works over both. It's also got something called Download Booster, which improves the speeds of your downloads, both when you're using LTE and Wi-Fi. At the bottom here, you're about to see that it's actually changed. Instead of having a menu button and a back key, we've got the back key there, but we've now got a multitasking key, which brings up this all-new multitasking menu. And it looks a lot different to the multitasking menu you might have found, example, on the Galaxy S4 or even the Galaxy Note 3. This whole new version of TouchWiz has definitely been improved and definitely changed quite a lot. Let's shut down all of those apps. Now, to the right of the phone here, we've got the power button, and on the left here, we've got the volume key. Up top, we've got the IR blaster and the headphone jack. At the bottom here is micro USB version 3.0. Unfortunately, the alarms are connected to it, but I'm just going to turn it there and you can just about see it's not your average micro USB 2 example. It's slightly wider, just so as we saw on the Note 3. On the back here, we've got a 16 megapixel camera, single LED flash, and you can see there the 2 dots is part of the heart sensor, the heart rate monitor, which we're going to go into a bit more depth on. The back cover here has this. It's a very much a different finish. For example, it's a lot like the original Nexus 7. It is plastic, so it feels faux leathery, and it has this perforated design. It actually looks a lot stylish and a lot better than it did on past Samsung devices. So now that we've gone and given you the rough spec of the phone, let's have a bit more in-depth look at TouchWiz itself. TouchWiz itself changed, and we're going to use the Galaxy Note 3 for comparison. And as you can see here, it's changed quite a lot. Although we've changed the background here, this is the stock TouchWiz on our Galaxy Note 3, and just the look and feel of the Galaxy S4 is definitely better. And I'll show you what we mean. Just in the menu button, we've got the two different changes here. So this is a much more an older UI layout, whereas the Galaxy S5 has this all new circular icon. Think what Apple did to the iOS 7 when they made it a lot flatter, and that's exactly what Samsung have done here. There's still the same amount of options. You've now got something called Toolbox. It's still the same amount of options. There's still the same amount of options here, but you've also now got quick shortcuts to S Finder, which used to be the menu key, press and hold, and Quick Connect, which allows you to connect from any screen to view a list of all nearby devices. And this could be because you want to send selected information to a PC, to a TV, or even to another smartphone. That's one change. Now the other change here, as you can see, is just a lot. The folders have changed themselves, so if we now put a folder in, you see that the icons, although they look the same, they look a lot better on this display, despite the fact that it is the same full HD display. The icons themselves haven't changed much, but the UI and the feel has. With the Galaxy S5, you can also say, "OK Google," and it picks up, as you can see there. Although it didn't hear us because it's quite loud in here, they did still pick it up. The other big change is in the menu itself. Just the difference in opinion here is is incredible. Whereas before on the Galaxy Note 3 it's just a list of icons, here we've got quick settings, we've got so many different options, and they've redesigned it. We'll change it so you can view it by the tab view, just to give it a bit more of a feel. And as you can see, it's again very similar, but they made it easier to find the things that make it more important to you. So quick settings are the most commonly used settings. So we've got Wi-Fi, download booster, Bluetooth, data usage, sound, display, wallpaper, lock screen, notification panel, finger scanner, safety assistance, and power saving mode. You've also got the connections menu. So this is a bit more in depth, device, and you can change all the different options, settings, and the general menu for things like backups and accounts, which is very similar to the one here. And it's just, the icons are different. It looks a lot nicer in terms of on the Galaxy S5 than it does on the Galaxy Note 3 and other TouchWiz devices. Now another change here is in multi-window. Although it looks the same, as you can see here, it tells you what to do. So it's actually made it a lot easier to see what the phone is capable of doing. So in this case, we could drag messages there and drag the gallery there. And if we were to do the same thing here, we'll drag the gallery onto there. You see it's not multi-windows one and then you have to drag a second one in. So it's actually quite better on the Galaxy S5 than it is on the Galaxy Note 3 there. We're going to put the Galaxy Note 3 to one side. We're going to put the Galaxy Note 3 to one side and have a bit more of an in-depth look at the actual TouchWiz on the Galaxy S5. So, as you can see, the Galaxy S5 TouchWiz now brings the options to switch the screens around, drag and drop text, which we saw on the Galaxy Note 3, and also just shut multi-window like you do there. Now, the user interface may not look awfully different, but it definitely feels like Google may have had a hand in the redesign of this. To the left of the home screen, you've now got access to Flipboard, which was before via the home button. And now if you just press and hold the home button, you get access to Google now, so you can go, okay Google, what's the time in New York? It probably isn't going to recognise it, but nonetheless you get the gist of what we're talking about here. So Google now is also a very important part of this device as well. But what about Samsung's own applications? Well, you've got all these new fancy UI, and you've got an all new S Health application, which we're going to show you in a bit more detail afterwards. S Voice is still present, and you can see it's been redesigned. It actually looks very similar to the leaks that we saw leak before the Galaxy S5 launched, and that's what made us expect the whole new user interface. Some of the other applications that come pre-installed are the Smart Remote, which is Watch On, but with an all new flavour, if you will. Expect another video on that. The Gear Fit Manager and the Gear Manager, which is available for your device, but again, has a all new icon befitting the new Galaxy S5. You've also got Knox, which is a bit of a pain, but it is disableable. And as you can see there, it's all via multitasking. It's really simple. You just swipe away to shut the app down. To access the menu, it's the menu button there, which again now is very much like we see on the Nexus devices. The Galaxy S5 in itself and TouchWiz on its own is very much a cross between TouchWiz that we've seen in the past and pure Android and Nexus experience on Google Nexus devices. And to be honest, it's actually very nice in comparison to what we've seen and what Samsung are usually doing. The shortcut menu is also over there. We're going to go in a bit more in depth at some of the applications, in fact a lot of the applications, so make sure you keep checking on the channel, subscribing, liking, comments, and yeah, check out the MWC portal. It should be appearing at the bottom of the screen for all of our MWC 2014 coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.